If you can recall from our last few videos, you would have heard me say that Norfolk Southern is in the middle of a power shortage. To combat this power shortage, Norfolk Southern has enlisted the help from Wells Fargo Rail, a leasing company owned by the famous, Binghamton company. They've leased 22 former BNSF SD70 Max out to service for NS to use on their trains. Here is one of them right now, the 8863. In this video, you'll see all types of BNSF and former BNSF power working on the Ns D&H line from Binghamton, New York to Albany, featuring former BNSF SD70 Max and some current day BNSF GE locomotives. This shot right here in particular was filmed in Sydney, New York at milepost 576. Moving timetable 12 miles south, we're at Afton, CP 587 for this next train. This is NS 265 out of Ayer, Massachusetts, bound for Chicago, Illinois, 43rd Street Yard. Intermodal train. There is no BNSF or former BNSF locomotives on this one. This train retains all NS power. An SD60, an AC44C6M, and a -9 44CW for power. On a lot of Class 1 railroads, intermodal takes high priority. The only thing that carries probably a higher priority than intermodal trains is Amtrak. This 265 had some interesting things, like this DRT container. These can show up every once in a while. And also on this train, for whatever reason, mysteriously, were these 40-foot weld cars. This train only takes 53-foot containers, so the 40-foot weld cars are a mystery. Maybe they picked them up from Mechanicsville, I don't know. But no container on this train is a 40-footer, and never has been, so I'm not sure what the deal was with these 40-foot welds. The orange former and current BNSF locomotives weren't the only thing making a stir this week, as NS 4000, the Sonic Bonnet, was around. NS 4000 is the first ever AC44C6M ever made. It carries a special Sonic Bonnet paint scheme to commemorate the AC44C6M project. This is Bainbridge, New York. Timetable north 7 miles from CP 587 at 580.71. This is 16R. As said, 4000 wears a special Sonic Bonnet paint scheme Two locomotives were chosen to have the Sonic Bonnet paint scheme. Obviously 4000, what we got here, and sister unit 4001 wear the special Sonic Bonnet paint scheme. There is also the red main with 4002 and 4003 to commemorate the Roanoke shops in the rebuilding process, and the blue main 4004 and 4005 commemorating the Juniata shops. Here are some current BNSF locomotives that are actually still owned by BNSF. We didn't get a good look at them here, but we'll get them later on in the video. That next day, 265 made its way south with some more pumpkins from Wells Fargo Rail. The 8871 and 8870 have made a mainstay here on the D&H for quite some time now. Today, they were assigned to 265. Taking it from Air, Massachusetts to Binghamton, where they'll be taken off and have new power put on the train to continue the trip to Chicago. With SD60 6958 and the two Wells Fargo locomotives, it was an all EMD show for this one, so that high whining sound and the ground were shaking. EMD's SD70 Max were made to compete with GE's -944 CW series. While not as successful as the -9s, they were still reliable workhorses. BNSF will consume a large fleet of them. Both locomotives here were built in 1998 and 1999 respectively. This puts both SD70 Max right around 25 years old. Not young, but still in good working order. However, technically, the SD60E is older. When built by EMD, SD60E 6958 was originally an S6594 and was built in 1985, almost 14 years older than both SD70 Max here. In the early 2010s, the 6594 was sent to be rebuilt into an SD60E, meaning the SD60E here is near 38 years old. This is definitely an interesting time to be alive on the D&H because not only do you have the leasers, but you also have foreign power from MEC with former CSX locomotives. But back to the BNSF leasers. Here's one WFRX leaser, but hey, here's some actual BNSF locomotives that are still with the company. -944CW number 5071 and ET44C4 3991. The middle truck, or the middle axles on the 3991 are not powered, hence the C4. The building the train is passing is McDowell and Walker. NS serves McDowell and Walker, and I believe they deliver soybeans to the company, which can be made into all types of different things. There are freight cars everywhere from 30T and 31T. There's also some interesting freight cars in this train, a former Reading and Northern gondola, now owned by CSMX. That gondola to the left here of this train is a former Conrail one, another historical car, so I had to take a picture of it as you saw earlier. 11R is known for its loaded trash and its empty racks. The empty racks are headed back for loads. The next day in Bainbridge, New York, 264 came up north with some old locomotives, such as MEC 7552, and some new ones, 4633 from Norfolk Southern, only 2 months out of the rebuild shops. And this is one of its first assignments. In September 1989, MEC 7552 was built for CSX and entered regular service, and it entered CSX YN1 livery, Stealth Gray. Over the years, it's seen many paint schemes with the Stealth Gray, CSX YN2, and now MEC Blue and White. Personally, I like the white too, but the MEC blue and white is starting to grow on me. Atlas a few years ago made a model of the 7552, which is on my top tier list to get, as I've seen his engine so many times now. The Dash 8 series was replaced with the Dash 9 series, and many Dash 8s made it to regular service, and a lot of them are still in use today. Later on in the night, 11R came south. This 11R, interestingly, was the opposite way around. The SD60E was trailing. Leading tonight's train was NS ES44AC 8081, followed by AC44 C6M 4044, and then the SD60E 6942. Interestingly, 11R had its manifest blocked, but no trash and no racks, which is highly unusual for the train. Guess they didn't need to go south tonight, so there's none of that. The following day, on Sunday, the same last shepherd returned north on train 16R the northbound counterpart to the 11R. This time the 6D was leading, with 44 again in the middle and 8081 this time trailing. Another former Reading and Northern gondola was in the train tonight, again owned by CSMX. This one is green and yellow, in my opinion, looks better. And as we watch 16R's auto racks go around the bend here, that's pretty much all we got for this video. Until then, God bless. We'll see you around the bend. Take care.